Hey, hi everyone. So today I'm going to be talking to you guys about discipline, and more specifically how I built discipline as a Division I track and field athlete. I was not born a disciplined person. I like to have fun, I like to lay around, but I learned that nobody is born a disciplined person. It's the habits that make up your day, make up your discipline. So I learned 4 big lessons from my 4 years of Division I track and field, and as I'm going back into my 5th year right now, I've really been reflecting on them. So I'm going to share with you guys the 4 lessons that I learned, an example of each of them, and how you can apply this to your life starting now. And before I get into this, if you think this is just another just get up every morning at 5 a.m. and you'll have more time in your day, this isn't that kind of video because I'm not that type of person to be able to get up at 5 a.m. Okay, so I'm going to start with a recent story from my life. So I graduated college and I actually never planned to come back for my 5th year. But then I had a really good season last year, so I decided to use up the rest of my eligibility. And so I already had this Europe trip planned. So I got to go on it. It was amazing. It was so fun. But honestly, there was not a lot of opportunity to work out. We were in each space for about 2 days. It just honestly did not fit within my time schedule or within my budget. So I spent about 6 weeks of time not working out, really. I've been doing sports since I was 4, so this lack of working out and scheduled routine was something that I've never experienced. So when I got back to the US, I was kind of like, oh my gosh, how do I get back into my disciplined routine? One thing that I did not have was motivation. Like, I was like, I don't really want to go to the track. I don't want to work out. So that's a really important lesson that I've learned about being a college athlete is it doesn't really matter if you're motivated, you just have to go and do it anyway. It wasn't an option to skip practice ever. You just have to go. It doesn't matter if all of your friends are hanging out. You don't get to hang out with them. You get to go to practice because you made that commitment. Just knowing that discipline is more of a habit. It's not like if I feel good today, then I'll go. It's just a choice. It's just like, this is a part of my routine and I have to do it. And obviously that comes with caveats. I think it's important to listen to your body. If you've been going really hard for a long time, resting is also important, which I will get to later in the video. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into that. So that thought of looking at motivation versus discipline, and motivation being just showing up when you feel like it versus discipline making it a habit, that kind of connects to the next lesson that I learned. And this lesson was to show up when you don't want to. Oftentimes when you don't want to show up and when you go, that's where all of the gains are actually made, because your bodies don't like being put into discomfort. And so they'll tell you, no, you don't want to do that. But that discomfort is where all the real growth happens. So when I got back from Europe, continuing my story, I was not in good shape at all. Not in good shape at all. I did not want to do any running workouts because I was like, I know this is about to be so humbling and I'm not going to be able to hit the times that I was able to hit before I left. And I'm going to feel a little bit out of place, but that's why I knew that I had to show up 10 times harder than I would have if I would have felt comfortable going. So I think that's what's super important is your body wants to stay in the comfortable areas, but there's no growth that happens in the comfortable areas. So when you really don't want to do those reps, that's when you have to do them 10 times harder than you would have before. And I would say a little bit of a part 2 to showing up when you don't want to is doing the boring reps to the best of your abilities. So when you're warming up, do not go through the motions. When I was in high school, the warm up, that was like, I was not paying attention. I was gossiping. To be honest, I was gossiping the whole time. I was talking to my friends. I was not paying attention to what I was doing. And then when I got to college, coaches really emphasized the importance around every single thing that we do. We're doing it for a reason. They're putting it in the program for a reason. So you need to have that intensity and intention with every single movement that you make. So you really need to show up in all areas of your training. When I was a freshman and a sophomore in college, I never looked at lifting as something that was that important. We did it with the team, but I always thought, I'm a runner. If I can go out and give 100% in my track workouts, that's all that I need to do. Why do I need to push myself to failure in weight room? So I didn't. I just went through the motions, and I was scared that lifting too heavy would hurt me, even though it's actually the opposite. So by the time I got to my junior year, I was like, something has to change because I hadn't seen any growth or improvement since high school. So I decided to take every single corner of track, the rehab, the nutrition, the track workouts and the conditioning, and the lifting. I took it all seriously. And when you do that and you do all the boring reps and you push yourself in every single aspect of whatever it is that you're trying to build discipline around, it doesn't become a choice anymore. It just becomes who you are and your habits, and it becomes your discipline. And I think that's something that's really important to keep in mind, because I've noticed with myself, like when one thing slips, then it's easier for other things to slip too and easier to cut corners. Okay, so that leads me to my third lesson that I learned, which is that resting is a part of your work. Okay, so when I was younger, I thought that the harder you push yourself, the more you try, and the more you just drive your body into the ground, that's how you'll get better. And I used to struggle with injury so much for that exact reason. I would say, do I want to do an extra workout or do I want to get 2 more hours of sleep? And I would do the extra workout, which never resulted in good outcomes. It just resulted in me getting hurt. And I think it's also an easy thing to skip recovery and skip sleeping and skip rehab and stuff, because there's so many more things that seem more imminent and more important. But that was like one of my biggest lessons that I learned from college, is that taking that stuff seriously will change your game completely. And also when you take that stuff seriously and you are well rested, it's so much easier to be disciplined and make disciplined decisions. So I'm gonna see if I can find like a little graph to insert here. Muscles have a certain trajectory. So when you work out, you're actually tearing them down. So they go down like this. And then when you rest, if you give them enough rest, then the muscles will rebuild, and then they'll be up here stronger than they were before you did the workout. But if you do your workout and then you get 5 hours of sleep that night, oopsie, like whatever, and then you do another workout the next day, and then you don't recover from that and you do another workout, your strength isn't going to get any better because your muscles don't have the time or the energy to repair themselves. So that's something that I thought was super interesting and that I've clearly seen, especially in injury prevention. Okay, and then my last piece of advice that I've gained through these years is that you can't rush the process to get to the result. So oftentimes, especially in sports, and I'm going to relate this to track, but you can relate it to anything in your life, your career, your business, relationships. You just want to rush to the end result. You want to rush to getting the PRs. You want to rush to winning conference. You want to rush to getting married. You want to rush to making a bunch of money, right? And thinking in that way is going to completely demoralize you, because to get there, there is so much space. There's so many little tiny everyday decisions that you need to make. And if you're trying to skip to and all you're thinking about is the final result, not only will you not learn anything, you won't enjoy yourself. You'll just become completely overwhelmed and want to quit and want to not do it at all, because it'll seem like an unreachable goal. But by breaking the timeline down and breaking it up into small goals and just really enjoying the process that you're having and also the people that you're with, that's seriously how the discipline is going to be formed, because you need to be able to see the fruits of your discipline. And if you're only measuring that by the final result, then you are going to give up, because that's how brains work. They need a little bit of dopamine to keep them moving. And if you're withholding that dopamine and because you're saying, I don't care about the small wins, I just want to get to the big win, which is what I was doing for sure. My first 3 years of college, I would say, I went into college thinking that I could get the school record in the triple jump. And I didn't get it my freshman year, but I was really close. And my sophomore year didn't get it. Junior year didn't get it. And my senior year, I didn't really think about it. I thought about how much I had learned from all those 4 years, and I really focused on connecting with my teammates and doing all the small things well. And that's when it came. It didn't come when I was hyper-focusing on it and not present in the moment and getting overwhelmed by my goals and just wanting to quit because they seem so unachievable. So I think that's the last thing that I really want to leave you guys with. And especially if I'm talking to any athletes that are going to college right now, it is going to be such a fun ride. So hard, so challenging, but you're going to learn so much and you're going to grow so much. So just seriously enjoy every single bit of the process, because it is such a beautiful process. And at the end of the day, it's great to do well in sports, but it's so much better to be a good person and have wonderful connections in your life and people that you love. That's ultimately what matters at the end of the day. And when you're the best version of yourself and you're treating yourself well and you're treating yourself the way that you deserve to be treated, then you'll be able to pour that love that you have for yourself onto others and in return receive it back. So yeah, to close out the topic on discipline, my brother actually has this tattooed on his body, but it's something that I always like to ask myself if I'm ever feeling a little bit like I want to make some decisions that won't be the best for me. And it's this: discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most. So remember that discipline, it's not a personality, it's not something that you're born with, but it's a practice and it's habits that are built every single day through all the little decisions that you make. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you made it to the end, I'm extremely impressed and grateful. I'm going to actually be posting a lot more on this channel. I've gone through a lot of really hard lessons and I would love to help people out through those, and also just documenting my final couple of seasons as a Division I athlete, something that I love so much. So yeah, if any of that interests you, just hit the subscribe button. And if you guys have any videos that you want me to make topics on, I would love to. So yeah, just put them in the comments below and I would love to make a video talking about it. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video.